Assalamualaikum and hi. In the second episode of Flowcharts Made Easy, we're going to learn about how to draw a simple flowchart, just like the one that we have seen in the first episode. In order for us to draw a flowchart, we're going to use Draw.io. Okay, there are a few tools out there. For example, Lucidchart. You can even use the Canva to draw a flowchart, but I found that Draw.io is the most intuitive tool. So we're going to use this one in our tutorial. So you can visit drawio.com. There are two different options here. You can straight away click on the start button. There's no login or registrations required. Alternatively, you can click on download so that you can download draw.io into your workstations. So there's a web-based version and also a desktop-based version. Of course, we are going to use the web-based. So if you click on start, okay, and you will first see this screen where it will ask you whether you want to save your diagrams to, Google Drive, OneDrive, GitHub, GitLab, and so on. Of course, you can click on Decide Later, or you can click on Device, which it will save the diagram into your workstations. I prefer to save everything into Google Drive, so I will click on Google Drive here. Just authorize it. We just do a quick login here. Okay. So I already have that. So we can then move on to create a new diagram. Okay. There are a few templates which you can use to start with. We're going to go for a blank diagram. Okay. Click on create. Now here it asks you to whether you want to use the root folder. The root folders here refer to the root folder in your Google Drive. So you can click on yes, or alternatively, in my case, for example, I want to save it in a specific folder, which I have created earlier. So I will click on no, pick folder. So I'm going to pick this one, my Draw.io diagram, select this, okay? So everything that I am going to draw later on will be saved into this specific folder. Right, so once authorized, you will see an interface like this. As we are going to draw a flowchart, so you can go to the left-hand side here, you will see a lot of different options. We're going to go for flowchart. Here you will see a lot of symbols. We have learned about all this, not all, but part of the symbols here, the basic one from episode 1. So here, let's start by using the oval shape, which is the start and also the end. You can resize this one, of course, as you like. We're going to type start here. Of course, for a complete program, you will have start and end. So if you like, you can just copy and paste it. So just Control-C and Control-V here. You will have the second oval shape here. You can change it to end. Alternatively, if you don't like, you can, drag another oval shape if you don't want to use the copy and paste feature. Now we need to move on to the input and output. Okay. If you still remember, the input will be the parallelograms. So can you see any parallelograms here? Yes, there's this one, which is the data, right? So drag this one and drop it. Okay. So here you can do input. Okay. Remember we have two input, number 1 and number 2. Here, for example, I can type number 1, number 2. Okay, I can even bold the input here, right? Okay. Now we need to move on to the process. For the process, what will be the shape? That will be rectangle, right? Okay, so we'll move on for process. If you notice, if you are using Draw.io, then you don't even need to kind of like memorize. For example, rectangle is for process, because when you move your cursors through this, you will see, for example, process here, rectangle, it won't state this rectangle, it will just say that it's process, okay? Our process will be to calculate the total, number 1, total equal to number 1 plus number 2. Again, you can resize this. Okay. So we have our process. You want to do an output. Remember, in some cases I've mentioned earlier, the output can be a parallelograms, but based on our standard, we are going to use a hybrid shape. But if you look into here, you can't see any hybrid shape. The hybrid shape is under advanced. So if you click on advanced here, if I remember it correctly, yes, you have the hybrid, which is the display here. Okay, so I'm going to drag and drop it here. Just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to type the output total, right? Because we want to ask the users for two numbers. We do a simple calculations here to find the total, and we display the total. Okay, we're almost done here. We just need to add the flow line. So in order for us to add the flow line, I believe you need to use this, right? Directional connector, which is under general. Okay, just drag and drop. Okay, just move it. It's very easy to use. One more. Okay, right. Another one. Okay, and finally, so one here. Okay, so now you have a very simple flowchart. You can see it's very easy here. You have the start, you have the input, we have the process here, output, the total, and then end. Okay, so this is a sequential program structures, right? From step by step. So input, total, calculate the total, and then output. Right. Now the questions will be how I'm going to save this. Actually, it's automatically saved. If you choose to connect your Draw.io with your Google Drive, it is automatically saved. Now, if I show you here, if you remember just now, I choose the My Draw.io diagrams, which I have created earlier. You can create any other folder that you like. And this will be the file that keep the flowchart that I have created, right? So of course, this is in the form of Draw.io. For example, now if I want to save it in other format, let's say you want to save it as an image so that you can embed it into your report. So what you need to do is you just need to go to File, okay, Export As, okay. So you can either choose PNG or JPEG. I'll go for JPEG. Keep the default setting. Click on Export. Let's say you can name it as My First Flowchart. And hit the Save button. Okay. So when you click on the Save button, then you should be able to access the file that you save. In my case, that will be in my default download folder, where I can access it from here. If I click on the right-hand side of my Chrome, you can see here my first flowchart. If I click on that, then I will see my flowchart in the form of JPEG file. I think that's it for our tutorial on how to create a simple flowchart using Draw.io. Thank you very much.